So the top 5 things you should manage, and I'd love to hear at some point what you guys think. This is predominantly what we hear from the marketplace, and then also what we see a year or 6 months to a year to 2 years down the road. It's our job not only to get your feedback on these areas, but it's also our job to understand what's going to be impactful on your network or impacting your network in 6 months or a year, because it takes us a long time to develop the software, test it, deploy it to make sure that's ready for production environments that you guys place it in. So we need to think about the future. For example, telepresence and video conferencing and the stuff that's really coming, that's beginning to hit the road, that you guys are going to be implementing into your infrastructures if you haven't already, that potentially isn't at the beginning, that may be in the early adopter phase, but it hasn't hit kind of the early majority or the late majority at this point. That's stuff that we need to be thinking about as well. So I'm going to talk really quickly about application performance, virtual infrastructures, monitoring the network traffic itself. A lot of talk this morning from the guys from Juniper about network traffic. They use a protocol called JFlow. But network traffic is obviously one of the most important things you need to monitor on the network. And one of the key points that they made this morning, which I just want to echo, which is 100% correct, and this is coming from a software vendor, is that it used to be that data was very vertical, client-server based, and now your data is actually is becoming more and more horizontal in the infrastructure, going between VMs or staying inside of the data center or intra-data center, and then you throw on top of that the rich media applications or the voice applications or the video applications, and the data is actually, it's more of a cross-stream issue on your network as opposed to just data coming in and out of the network. So we'll talk a little bit about network traffic. Distributed resources and locations, that's classic network monitoring. Being able to monitor multiple locations regardless of where they are, whether you have private cloud or you're using some public cloud or you're renting space from a rack space or wherever your data is, being able to ensure that we have a comprehensive 360-degree view of everything that's going on from a network standpoint in your environment. The last piece is critical device performance. This is interesting because everybody always talks about the new stuff in our space, but at the end of the day, everything still goes through a physical switch. Like I recognize that virtualization is all the rage, and we're all implementing virtualization, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of data that's still going through the physical switch, and being able to configure, deploy, back up all the configurations of those switches is hyper important. So these are the top 5 areas that we typically see on a daily basis that our customers are telling us. There is lots of what we call long tail stuff, which is really niche-y monitoring opportunities, which we don't see as much. But I would say 80% of the time, 90% of the time, this is typically what we see, and this is what you want to monitor on your network in order to get a 360-degree view of everything that's going on.